Right, now I'm going to demonstrate a range of different ways that you can do as backgrounds for sketchbooks, okay? They're just really, really quick, and you should never spend too long on a background because it's what you put on top of the background that matters. However, the right colours that blend with the images that you put on to the sketchbook page are very important. So I've just got some chalk pastels here. They're the soft powdery ones, and I'm going to just show you how I would blend some. So I'm going to choose a red, an orange and a yellow, and this can be done very quickly. So you just rub it on. You don't need loads. And then usually, to see if your hands are getting very messy, use a paper towel. There you go, and you've got like a nice sort of summery, fiery background. This can be done with most colours. Again, look at the colour wheel. I would suggest to do this and choose colours that are very close to each other. They're the colours that blend best together. Okay? So give it a final rub down, and then if you have any hairspray, give it a quick coat of hairspray just to seal the chalk pastels onto the page. If you don't have any chalk pastels, that's fine. Just be careful whenever you're drawing and rubbing out. So that's the first background. The next one, you can just use some inks. You can use some inks and you can roll colours onto the page. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. So if you get a flat palette and you just need a little bit of ink, that should be fine. Now with the ink, I often add a little bit of water as well, because the inks can be very strong in colour. And you just roll it and then roll it onto the page. You don't have to be neat about this. I quite like whenever it looks a bit patchy. And you can have a couple of colours, or you can just have the one. You could just leave it like that, dry it, and then when you work on top of it, it'll be lovely. I'm going to add one more colour. Just a little bit of the pinky red. And again, I'm going to add a little bit of water because again, the colours can come out very strong. See the little amount of ink I used? You really don't need any more than that. And you don't need to wash your roller really. So give it a quick mix. And that can go onto your page as well, and you can get this nice sort of faded effect. You've got the really lovely pink going into orange and then the yellowy orange, and you might just want to get a tiny little bit up here. The track of the roller gives a lovely texture and can be quite nice. Okay, so that's another background. It hasn't taken very long at all. Okay, the next one is to use a spray diffuser. This is a spray diffuser in case you've not seen one before. Okay, and you need a little pot of ink. Okay, and when you're using your spray diffuser, you pop it into your ink. Make sure it's completely straight like this, not like that or it won't work. Okay, and off we go. So you can get an effect that looks like this. If you stand or sit very close to it, it will start to clump up like this. So you might want to stand back at a distance and have a bit of a lighter spray. I'm just going to do this in another colour in case the yellow's not showing up on camera. So we've got a bit of a greeny blue there, and because I'm at a distance, it's just showing a lovely speckled spray. Okay, you can have it a lot darker like this, but remember this is a background, and therefore if you do have it quite dark, you might not be able to draw on top of it, and we will want you to draw on top of these backgrounds. Remember, they are only a background. Again, on this colour, it's a bluey green, so it's a bit of blue with yellow put into it, and it's come out with this lovely sort of turquoise dark green. But I have added water to it because I find whenever you use the full strength ink, that's the ink from the bottle, it comes out very, very dark, and therefore pupils cannot draw on top of their background successfully. So add a little bit of water into your ink, and again, you only need a small amount of ink. So you can have it quite dark, as I mentioned before, where it's very clumped together, or you can have it in a nice light spray. Okay. What you can do with that also is place some stencils or place cardboard shapes or anything like that on top of bits of the page, and when you spray you take the cardboard or whatever it is away and you'll end up with a nice stencil, but that's something you need to prepare in advance. Okay, so that's that one. I'll just use the back of this page actually. So the next one is just to sponging. This is a very quick background technique as well. So I've just put out some colours. I've put out a red and a white. You can use lots more colours if you want. And I've just got a piece of sponge. So I've got white again because I feel that backgrounds should be a lighter version of whatever you put on top. So I would never do a very, very dark, say purple or blue background, because pupils will struggle to draw on top of it. Okay, so you can do it where you're leaving bits of the page white and you're maybe only sponging some areas, or you can just fill up the whole page with a nice colour. So you can fill it up, or you can just do little bits where you can still see the white of the page. Now this technique, in fact all these techniques work on coloured paper. So if you had, for example, a brown piece of paper, you can still spray diffuse on top of it, you can still ink on top of it, you can still sponge, and you can still add chalk. The background, I do think, is an important piece of the sketchbook page. Okay, although it's not a drawing or anything like that, it sets the tone for what the page is going to look like. Okay, but it should, as I say that, it should only take a few minutes to do. You should not spend an hour or hours on backgrounds. Okay, so that is a sponging technique, from very close and clumped together to spread out, and you can do that in any colour, but I would suggest to use the white as well.